How's it going, everyone? I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Chris. Thank you guys for visiting the channel today. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 tricks on the MPC 2000XL. Now, this video is targeted for beginners or new owners of the MPC 2000XL. The MPC 2000XL was my first sampler. Unfortunately, it's not that one. I had sold it a really long time ago and I deeply regret selling it because I made a lot of beats on that machine. I still have the memory cards from them. And as a matter of fact, I have a video that I can put up here in the cards of me playing a couple of my old beats from that old MPC. So make sure to check it out. So let's move over to the MPC 2000XL and let me show you the tips that I have for you guys today. All right, guys, so the first tip that I'm gonna give you guys today is how to stop a long sample on the MPC 2000XL. Now, on the MPC 4000 and on a lot of other samplers, all you really have to do is double tap the stop button, right? Double tapping the stop button on the MPC 4000 stops the long samples. But in the MPC 2000XL, it doesn't really do anything. So how would I go about stopping that long sample? Well, in my opinion, this isn't really a feature that was included on the MPC 2000XL, but there's still a way of stopping the sample. So to get to the point, I'm gonna play the sample again on pad 1. And then I'm gonna go to the trim window. And there it goes, it stops the sample completely. I think if you go to sample, it'll probably cut it off as well. Yep. It looks like going through mixer, other MIDI sync program, miscellaneous. It doesn't work when you try to go into the windows, the sample still continues to play. But if you hit sample, if you hit shift sample or shift trim, then you'll be able to stop that long sample from going on. Because I know it can be very annoying when you're trying to move on to the next track and that sample is still playing in the background. So the next tip is in regards to when you're naming your sounds within the MPC 2000XL. Now it's funny because I wasn't aware of this tip until recently, actually, which is kind of cool. So as you can see in my scenario, I have already titled my sound surplus 5, right? And you can see everything is all in capitals. If you want to make it so that your MPC is not yelling at you about surplus 5, all I gotta do is hit the full level button and it brings lowercase letters. Now, what happens if you use the 16th level button, which is also an option? And what that does, it creates spaces. You know, that's cool for, let's say, if I want to call it S15, right? And let's say you made a mistake, right? You had named it right the first time, you went in and you accidentally changed the name. Instead of going in and typing in the name, all you have to do is press shift and it brings back your original name. Like I said, I didn't know about this feature until recently. Who would have known? The next tip that I want to share with you guys is a way to quickly edit a sample or sound that's in the MPC 2000XL. Not so much edited as in like, truncating, but to get to the sound quickly. For example, if I go to shift trim and I want to locate this hi-hat sound, right? So I'm going to locate the hi-hat sound that I'm looking for. I know it's on pad number 10, so I'm going to go shift program. And this might be different for you depending on what program you have it on. For me, for example, I have it on drum program number 2. So I'm going to click F2 and go into that screen. As you can see, it's already telling me that the hat that I'm looking for is right there. So if it's not on the sound that you're looking for already, make sure to press the sound on the pads. That way it populates within the screen. So now once you've confirmed that this is the sound that you are looking for and you want to edit, or you just want to go to quickly, you're going to hit shift trim and it's going to bring up the hi-hat sound that you're looking for, or whatever sound it is that you're looking for. Now the good thing and convenient thing about this is the fact that you can go ahead, like the way that I use this specific feature is if there's a particular sound or sample that is just not blending in with the rest of the beat, and I just want to go in quickly and just edit, truncate it, maybe go to the parameters and turn up the level because I feel like it's too low, whatever the case may be, that is the fastest way of doing it. Otherwise, you're just going to be, you know, scrolling through here, trying to find the sound, and then you might skip it on accident, and then you have to go back, and that's just more of a hassle to do, especially when you have your MPC filled with a ton of sounds already. Now, for my fourth tip and trick on the MPC 2000XL, I want to talk about playing two sequences simultaneously. So sometimes in some scenarios, I think this would probably apply better in a live sound situation. Maybe you would want two sequences to play at the exact same time. So in order to do that, I'm gonna play you this sequence that I have titled 5/22/2020. Right, okay, cool. So now I'm gonna go over here, put my tempo in, no, not 940 beats per minute. Jesus, no. And I actually don't have anything recorded here, so I'm just gonna record something random. It's probably gonna sound horrible, but I'm doing it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So we're gonna go to Shift 2, and it's gonna bring us to this window right here. And it's gonna say this sequence will play simultaneously with the active sequence or song. So you select the sequence that you want to play simultaneously. Unfortunately, it can only play one other sequence at the same time, but it nevertheless still a cool feature. And if you're not in this window, let's say you end up in this window, just press F3 and that'll take you to that second sequence. Now you can get very creative with this feature. I, for one, don't really find myself using it a lot. If I was doing a live set, I think I would implement this feature in a scenario maybe where I want to add a couple blends or whatever the case is, and add more variations, etc. So I'm going to press F5 to turn on that. And what should happen is you should get a little mark up here above. I know it might be a little bit difficult to see, so I am very sorry about that, but it should say second, a 2, and then ND in the bottom. So when I press play, it's gonna play that little percussion sound. I'm not sure what it is exactly. So you should be able to hear that. So if, let's say you're not able to hear that, I'm just gonna get really crazy with it. Okay, now let me play it again. Kind of cool, right? Kind of cool. And yeah, it's you can get very creative with that. I mean, you can implement it, and if you just want to turn it off, you hit Shift 2 and then you just press off, and when that little second disappears, then you're golden. It's turned off. All right, guys, this is the last and final tip number 5. This is actually my favorite tip just because of what I'm about to show you today. Basically, what I want to show you guys is how to record automation within the MPC 2000XL. So in order to do that on the MPC, I'm gonna play you guys the beat that I have. That way you can hear the before and after. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit Shift Mixer, It's gonna take us to this window right here where we can see our 4 drum programs, setup and effects edit. Now, I will say that this window looks very similar to the program window. The only difference obviously is that you have the setup and effects edit. So once you've made sure that you're in the correct window, which is shift mixer or shift 7, you're gonna hit on setup and you're gonna go all the way to the bottom where it says record mix changes. By default, this is set to no. Make sure to set it to yes. And now we're gonna go into the program that I wanna make those changes to. So I'm gonna go to drum program number 2. Switch to bank number 2 because bank number 2 is where I have my sample. And now I'm gonna hit record, which is record play. And I'm gonna mess around with these and you'll be able to see how the automation is affecting the overall beat. And as you can see, I went a little crazy with it so you guys can hear the audible difference. I'm not sure if you're able to hear it, but if you're able to see it, you see that these 4 or 5 pads, I messed around with the overall volume of it. I messed around with the panning of it. And when I press play, you can see the movement. Now, the only unfortunate thing about this feature is that you can only automate either the panning or the volume. You can't do both, which kind of sucks because I mean, having the ability to do both would definitely make for a more interesting beat. But I mean, it is a 2000XL from like the late 90s. So, I mean, it's still a very good feature nevertheless. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this video was somewhat helpful. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave it in the comment section below. If there's any other little tricks that you would like me to show you, let me know. I noticed that a lot of you guys like when I do little kind of tutorial type videos. I'm not an expert, right? I mean, I have a little bit of experience on these samplers, but I'm more than happy to share any little information that I know or that I have, or you know, to pass it on to the next person that might not know of how to approach these samplers, etc. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys on the next video. Stay well, stay safe, and let's keep on making beats. Peace.